also, I absolutely love the content that you share, because I think it's so important for people to challenge their thinking about what is proper in English teaching. Specifically, I come from pronunciation and fluency work, and I definitely feel that there is a lot of bias around who should be teaching that. And I'm happy for the opportunity to challenge that and to share my experience. I also know that there are a lot of non-native speaking teachers who want to be to grow, to build their business, or to become content creators. And the atmosphere is not very welcoming, or at least, we have built some beliefs that prevent us, or people who want to do that, from achieving success, and from doing what they want, because they believe that they should sound and look a certain way to be successful. And I'm here to challenge all that.
Sell English as a global language, which is kind of what EFL and ELT is built on, right? Is that we use English because it's easy to learn and it's a global language. You can't then say that you get to be an expert in it because of your culture, right? These are paradoxes. They don't work together. So you can't have both of those things. Second of all, you're ignoring your learners' needs. So most people who speak English as a second language, they use it to communicate with other people who speak English as a second language. Yeah. Again, if you want English to be the language of business, you can't expect it to rely on, one particular kind of English. And that's a different kind of English, because L2 speakers of English use it differently. So, things like phrasal verbs and all of these idioms, which are lovely and they're great fun, but they're not actually really useful when it comes to like basic, important communication. Yeah. And again, if you're thinking about English as a global language, then there's a lot of other cultures that have to factor into that, because people who are using English as a second language will have different cultural backgrounds and different cultural expectations. Yeah. So it can't be boiled down to just one, right? Yeah. Thirdly, that culture that you're referring to, generally, in my experience, is pretty narrow. So generally speaking, the culture that people have this kind of appropriation over with English tends to be, first of all, English, as in from England, Southern English specifically as well, and a very particular pronunciation that goes along with that. So that's ignoring, even just in the UK, the huge amount of different accents, culture, dialects, languages as well that we have within the UK, right? You're ignoring all of that, not to mention, of course, we have places, for example, like Ireland, South Africa, Canada, the US, English, and then expanding that further, you have the language, the English language of Jamaica, Nigeria, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, like all of these other countries in the world that are using English as well. Yeah. So to try and say that your English and that the cultural aspect of it is integral to teaching it, I'm sorry if these are like scary or nasty words. For me, that smacks of colonialism, because you are imposing a certain kind of English. So for a non-native teacher, you're pretty much always required to have a C2 level of English, right? Yes. I would really love to see how many L1 English speakers can pass that exam. Seriously.
Behind, and we get stuck on the discourse of who is a better teacher, who knows the language well, which is very relative, don't you think?
Definitely. Ownership. Okay. If you remember this question of the inner circle, the outer circle, the expanding circle,
Naturally,
right? So, yes, right. But now if you go to, let's say, an updated version of those circles, you're going to say, you will see that the categories are the same, but there is not an inner circle to get into. I mean, English belongs to English speakers, or to speakers of English.